So, I got my first YouTube check. I can retire now, right? Not exactly. Let's talk about it. Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and this is Steve Talks Books. About 6 months ago, when my channel was able to be monetized, I made a video about kind of the process of what it was like, the kind of choices I was making, the options that are available, things like that. And a few people asked me if I would do a video when I got my first check. So I did get my first deposit. So I want to run through a couple of things that I've learned and a couple of the choices I've made along the way. Now, before we get started, I'm going to be fully transparent with everything, but I also want to mention that this is in no way judgment against people who choose to do things differently than me. I'm just giving you my perspective, the things that I feel comfortable with, and the decisions I've made and the choices I've made with my channel being monetized and why I've made them. Again, it's no judgment against anyone else. Everyone's free to run their channel the way they want to. They spend their time on their content, and it's their decision how to handle it. So everyone is up. It's up to the individual to choose, make these decisions. It's just the way I choose to do things, and I'm going to run through kind of what I've made in the last 6 months, and kind of the things that I've learned and the things that I've adjusted since my channel has been monetized. So I'm going to run through the channel. I'm going to show you the dashboard, kind of the options that are available to us, and then we'll go over what my costs are monthly to kind of give everyone an idea of what my costs are. And I also think it's important to mention that my costs are probably not very common. And also, when I mention my costs, I emphasize that these are decisions that I've made because I want to. It's not required. These are options that I choose to do. So I'm not looking for sympathy or for, oh, poor me or anything like that. It's just, these are things that I choose to do because I enjoy it and there's extra costs associated. So I just want to go through, kind of give everyone an idea of what a channel of my size makes every so often. So let's take a look behind the curtain. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, we're going to look at my dashboard and I'll show you kind of the different options and kind of what it looks like on the back end. So let's take a look at that now. So this is what's called the dashboard. And those of you who have a channel probably familiar with this screen. These are all the different options for the channel are. You can see your analytics. You can see your ranking, your views. It reminds you of how well or how bad you're doing. So it always tells you, it never lets you forget when you have a stinker of a video or when you have a good one, like the last one, thanks to all who watched my weekly update. So it also tells you your subscribers, latest comments, things like that. So what everyone wants to see is a monetization section. Let's go there. Now, there's some changes that I've made with monetization. Now, in my original video, I discussed the different options that are available where to place ads. Now, one thing that I've done, and I'll show you here, each video, you can have different options for different ads. So you can change these options. Now, my older videos, when I initially was monetized, I chose to have skippable videos at the beginning and the end of every video. So if you look at my older videos, if you watch an older video, you'll get an ad at the beginning and an ad at the end. Now, it's something I've thought about over the last few months, and something I decided along the way that I removed the before advertisement. Now, some of you may be saying that's probably not the best idea because you would make more money that way if you have an ad at the beginning and an ad at the end. And you're right. I choose not to have one at the beginning. I just have one at the end. So there are some people who say you shouldn't monetize your channel. You should just not do it. One of the reasons I did is because at least this gives me some control over where the ads are. So when I choose to not have an ad at the beginning of my video or in the middle, at least that gives me some control over where the ads are. Because if I don't monetize the channel, YouTube does. There's ads no matter what. This way, at least I have some control over where they are, how often, the type they are, things like that. So over the last couple of months, I decided to stop doing the before video ads. That's just a personal choice that if someone is watching my videos, I chose to remove that so they can get right into the video. Like I mentioned, if you watch an older video, I haven't gone through each individual video and changed that for each one. So if you look at an older video, you may get a before and an after. But everything now that I do, I always do an after video, or like on the live streams, I oftentimes forget to monetize them. So I'm not sure. Those are hit and miss because sometimes I honestly forget, which probably not the best thing. So these are the options you can choose. I always do skippable ads. That means you can hit the skip button after a few seconds, and I always do after video post roll. So those are the options that I've chosen to change. Like I said, that's just me. That's just what I feel good about. Everyone has their decisions to make. So you're probably wondering, okay, let's get to the good stuff. What did you make? So I can't show you the AdSense page because it has personal information, and I'm too lazy to blur all that stuff out. So I'll just go through the preliminary, and then I'll show you the total and kind of give you an idea. First, I want to mention something: the super chats that I've been sent. I want to thank all the people who have done this because, and this goes back all the way back to April, as you can see down here. So I want to thank everyone for super chats, for the little, for the contributions to the channel, because all these add up. I rounded up a little bit from a few cents, but it came out to $60 for all of these. So I want to thank all of you who have done this. It means a lot to me. I know you don't have to. I never ask anyone to. So I really appreciate when someone goes out of their way to throw a few bucks back into the channel. So $60 of what I received came from super chats. So just keep that in mind. Now, that's $60 of where I came from. I did notice that when I changed my videos, I stopped doing the ad before roll. The money that you get from people watching the ads went down considerably. I was making a lot less money because I removed that. So I did that knowing it would be less. It's just something I choose to do. Like I said, that's what I feel comfortable with. One day I may decide to do it again. I'm not sure, but for right now, that's what I feel good about. And that's kind of the direction that I'm going now. That's kind of what I feel good with. So, so those who don't know, whenever you watch an ad on YouTube, before a video or after a video or in the middle or whatever, the longer you watch, the more money the creator gets, or YouTube or whoever. So that's kind of how it works. So if you watch the video, then you get a certain amount. If you skip it, you get a certain amount. It's every second that it plays or the length. So I don't know the details, the very ins and outs of it, but that's in a nutshell how it works. So now you all may be asking, so get to the good stuff. What did you make? Okay. What I made through YouTube AdSense, through the money I've made with super chats. So $60 of that was super chats. The total that I had deposited in my bank was $152.12. It was $152.12. Now, some of you may be saying, I thought you got a check after the first $100. You are correct. The problem that I had is when I was trying to verify my identity, it kept telling me that it had trouble verifying my identity. So I had to make copies of my license, had to send it in, wait for it to get approved or denied. I had to send in other information, and I just had a small detail wrong with my name. It was my fault. It's something I filled out wrong, and it prolonged the payment. So that was on me. That was just me filling it out wrong, and I didn't type in a certain name the right way. So that was my fault. As soon as I fixed that, a couple of days later, I had the money in my bank. So $152.12 for about 6 months. Like I said, when I removed the pre-roll advertisements, I noticed that it was a huge drop. So let's go over my costs. Again, the costs that I chose to have are my choice. I do them because I want to, because I feel like it adds to my content, and because I know that there's people who listen to the podcast. Now, there'd be someone else in the comments saying there's free options for these. And you're right, there are free options. I choose a different service because it has some some benefits, it has some perks, and it has some other options that I enjoy. Again, my choice. These aren't required. So every month, the podcast, I have 12 hours of podcast every month to upload. I usually go over that, as most of you probably guess who follow the channel. For every hour that I go over, it's a $2 overage charge that I pay. Now, the cost for that runs usually $20 to $40, give or take. Some months it's more, some months it's $20. Very rarely it's $20, but usually goes over. So I'm going to round that. I'm going to go in the middle and say $30 for the podcast. That includes hosting. That includes all the different benefits. That includes all that stuff from Buzzsprout. First thing. Second thing is StreamYard. I pay for the upgraded version of StreamYard. There's some perks for it. You can have more people. You can get rid of the little duck in the corner. You can add backgrounds, things like that. Again, it's something I choose to do because I feel like it adds to the content. It's just something that I feel good about. Now, the last thing that I do is I have the forum. Now, some of you may be saying there's a free option for that. You can use Discord or another service or whatever. I like having control over the data. I like having control over the content. I like having control over privacy stuff. I'm the only person there that runs it. So I see all the back end stuff. No one else has access to it. You'll never be added to a mailing list or anything crazy. You'll never have that kind of stuff won't happen because I run it. I make sure it's secure. That, because I got the Black Friday deal this year, is about $12 per month, give or take. So every month, my costs are approximately $62, give or take. And let's talk about time spent. I spend about 10 hours a week, give or take. That's not reading. That's just me doing active content stuff. I think this is an estimate that's kind of low because I think I spend more time than that doing content. When you add in the live streams and things like that, planning, emails, things like that, I think it adds up to more, but 10 hours is about right. So figure about 40 hours a month is what I spend on content. Again, I do this because I want to, not because I ever expected to get paid even a penny. I enjoy creating content and interacting with all of you. So about 40 hours a month and $62 is what it costs me to run the channel. And not only the channel, it's the podcast, it's StreamYard, it's the forum, it's all those other things. So it's not just the channel, it's all the other stuff included with it, associated with it. Some of you may be asking, what about the equipment you've purchased for the channel, like cameras, microphones, things like that? I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to be depressed. But I do this stuff because I want to, not because I felt like I had to. It's something that I enjoy doing. I like having a microphone. I like having the camera. I like having the lights, all that kind of stuff. I get enjoyment out of it. Makes me happy. And those are like hobbies. Before YouTube, I enjoyed this kind of thing. I enjoyed audio. I enjoyed cameras. I enjoyed video. I enjoyed taking photographs. All that stuff was still things I enjoy. So I may have bought it anyway, but it just, it's stuff that's included in the channel. But we won't even talk about that. That's just my monthly fees that I incur every month for the content. And again, I'm not asking for sympathy or for, oh, poor me. These are things that I choose to do. I'm just giving everyone an idea of what it costs every month for a channel like mine to run. So just give you an idea of what we make and the costs involved in it if you choose to do these extra things. These extra things aren't necessary. It's things I choose to do. I'm not asking for anything. I enjoy making content, but I do see why some people create a Patreon and things like that to help fund the channels, help kind of pay those kind of costs. I've considered a Patreon, something like that, but I just don't know that I have the time to keep up with it. I don't want to have a Patreon with benefits that I can't keep up with because I'm kind of strapped for time already. So maybe in the future, I'll do something. I've thought about doing like $1 a month and then like a higher tier with like a live stream every month or something like that we get together and just kind of hang out. But again, I don't know if I have time for it, and I don't ever expect anyone to pay for this. It's just, I've thought about it, but it's nothing that I've given really serious thought to. So I can see why some people choose to do it because of the time involved, and it helps kind of keep things rolling, and the cost of books. Don't want to get into that either. That goes with the equipment side of it. That's a whole nother conversation. So retirement in the Bahamas will have to wait. I'm not there quite yet. Like I said, I never expected. I started this channel with the intention just to have fun with it, to connect with all of you, to make some friends, and to just have people to talk about books with. I never expected to make a penny. I never even thought I'd get to that point. So I'm extremely fortunate to have the channel that I have the connections that I have the friends I've made, have the $152.12 in my bank account that I didn't have before. It's all icing on the cake for me. Cake. I hope this was interesting for you to see the different options that are available. If you have any questions for me that I can answer, like I said, I'm no expert, but if there's something I can help with, or I can kind of help you if you have a channel that's monetized or you have a question, I can do what I can to help. I'm not sure that I'm the best person to go to because you can see my back. You can see the total I've pulled in 6 months. So I'm probably not the one to go to if you're looking to retire in the Bahamas. But of course, I'm always here to help if anyone thinks I can help, whether it's just starting a channel or monetization or content or whatever. If you think I can help you, then I'm more than happy to lend a hand. Again, I hope this was helpful. I hope it was interesting. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. But until next time, talk to you soon.